Hello, Huskies, and welcome to week 2 of distance learning with Miss Love. I hope that your first week was as smooth as it could possibly be and that you all are okay and staying safe. I just wanted to quickly thank you for the videos, the Flipgrid check-ins. They were wonderful to see. If you didn't get a chance to do that, you can still do it. It's still open to you. And for those of you who did that, I already replied. So if you didn't get a chance to take a look at that, it was mostly soaking up the sunshine because it was so beautiful last week. So check that out, and if you haven't already, please post. Also, I am really excited about the poems that you guys have posted. I read over what you had finished on week 2 poetry in Google Classroom, and also the Padlet has continued to impress me. I did decide not to post the last 2 days, well, today and yesterday, because I thought we could all use a little bit of a break, enjoy the weekend. But we will be up and running with quarantine poetry tomorrow and all the way through next week, Friday, with the new prompt each day. So you're welcome to continue that too. But today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about week 3, poetry week 3, which will be April 6th through the 10th, as you can see here. And just like last week, I have the PowerPoint or Google slideshow that has all of the lessons explained and also examples of what the poems might look like. And then this poetry portfolio, that is where you actually will type your poetry on Google Classroom. So it should have your name on it. Everybody individually will have their own. Oh, there's Penny. There's Penny. Hi, Sugar. Say hi. She's, been a big part of this journey for me. She's like always on my lap when I'm home. So she's part of the videos too. She says hi. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. The poetry lessons for this week are, as I said, all here in the Google slideshow. The first one you guys are going to be doing is called exercise 1 is the body part poem. So it's kind of an ode poem. I want you to first brainstorm a quick list of 5 things that you really love about your body, school appropriate, of course. And then you're going to listen to Homage to My Hips by Lucille Clifton. It's a really fun poem. It's actually over here on the right-hand side too, so you can read through it. But I really want you guys to be able to listen to her perform this piece. It takes on a whole new energy when you actually get to hear it. And then you'll choose one body part of your own to write about. So think about, what can your body part do? What else can you compare it to? Think abstract, like freedom, and also concrete, like it can put a spell on a man and spin him like a top, like Lucille Clifton talks about in her piece. So it's a fun poem. And if we were together, ordinarily we would actually we'd outline somebody and write the poems all over this body and see all the different, you know, parts of our body that are important to us. It's kind of cool. No body shaming. Okay, be nice to yourselves. Exercise 2 is called Rewrite the Dictionary. This is when we usually team up with Mr. Applebaum and we write a poem, and his students create these ceramics that actually kind of bring these to life, like in a 3D sort of way. So it's kind of fun. What I want you to do is just look through the dictionary, online, whatever. I mean, you could even open up a book and just pick a word and redefine it. Over here, it does say choose a word that you admire, one you've never heard of, and then also one that has never really appealed to you. Sometimes the words that you never would have expected turn out to be really cool poems, rather than just the ones that you love the most. So look through and find 3 words that again, that you love, one that you maybe don't love so much, and then one you've never heard of before, and kind of draft and play with those. But you only really need to post one. So these are a couple of student examples where they rewrote the dictionary in a very poetic way. So if you were to turn in the dictionary to the word poetry, for example, you get a very different piece than what we see here. And also another student example called self-love. I'll read them both to you really quickly. If I could see, I have to get a little closer. All right. This first one's called poetry. It gives you the pronunciation and also the part of speech here too, to make it look like a dictionary type of definition. It's kind of fun. Let me sculpt you a beautiful woman with her voluminous ringlets of hair, her smooth curves, luscious full lips, and her sparkling eyes, without using a single bit of clay. Let me paint you a sea, rough, stormy blue, swirling waves crashing upon a snow-white, serene, sandy beach, without a single drop of paint. Let me create a beautiful piece of art for you using only one medium, words. Isn't that cool? That's what poetry is, right? But we just added a whole lot of imagery, a lot of beautiful things that we can see here, taste, touch, smell. Imagery is everything in poetry to help us really understand what that word means. And one of my favorite poems of all time, this is written by another former student called Self-Love. I'll read that one to you as well. My dear, it is okay to love yourself. It is okay to fall in love with your tears and dog-eared edges. It is okay to see the stars in your eyes and the branches of spring trees in your fingers. Love the way that your hips curve to the tune of a full moon or the sun-kissed curl of your dusky eyelashes. Find love in dimpled thighs and stretched skin. My darling, doesn't the moon have dimples? Doesn't the sky stretch forever? We have fallen in love with the world. Isn't it time we fall in love with ourselves? Beautiful way to describe what self-love actually is. So that's kind of the point. Find a word and figure out how we can actually feel it and really deeply understand it through poetry. All right, exercise 3. This is perfect for our social distancing quarantine type thing because we can still actually go outside, just no longer to parks or anything like that, but you're still, I'm told, you can actually take your dog for a walk around the block or just take a walk, get out, clear your head. And this is one poetry exercise that will help you do that. It's the sensory poetry walk. So there is a handout here if you would like to use it. It's kind of a guide, but basically it just has a picture of an eye for what do you see, a picture of a hand for what can you touch, etc. So I want you to gather all of those sensory details as you're taking your walk, um, and then turn them into a poem and show us what you really experienced. Okay, so it's a way to really kind of heighten our senses and turn them into a poem. So here's another student example. We actually, if we were at school, would be taking a walk around the block at the high school and gathering all of these things. So after a walk, one year, this is one of the poems that came out of that. Oh my gosh, I really should wear my glasses for this. Okay, it says, baby, tell me how ugly and cruel the whole entire world can be. All right, my love, settle down in your chair and let me tell you about the bitter light that soaks this bleeding world. Let me tell you about the choking smell of cigarettes coming from the chimney of a man walking down the street, and how he just lost his mother in a lifelong battle with cancer, and how he got laid off because his depression was just too much. Let me tell you about the eyesores of rusted poles and fluttering trash, and about how they burn your fingertips and blister your skin as you brush past, etc. It's too tiny for me to read, but I encourage you to read it. These are all the things that she collected. We walked past a guy who was smoking a cigarette. There was a lot of trash on the ground, but it turned into kind of a really beautiful, poignant, poetic sort of walk. So I encourage you, get out, walk, do the same thing, collect all of these things, and then put them into a poem. And then lastly, exercise 4. This is another kind of personal one. It forces you to look at yourself. It's the name poem. A lot of really fun ones have come out of this. I didn't think much of it at first when I came up with it a few years ago, but they have become some of my favorite poems to read. So you want to write a poem about your name, either your first name, your middle name, your last name, all of them. You can write several poems or just kind of put it all into one. However you want to do it is totally fine. May turn out to be an opportunity to discover what your name actually means, especially if you don't know the origin. You could look it up and find the history of your name. Also, it could give you an opportunity to talk about how your name was selected. Maybe you were named for someone, or even just how it sounds, which is one of the examples that I'm going to read to you here. The student examples are both on the right here. This is about how his name sounds. It's really kind of cool. It says, my name is a pressure, a cascade, a crash, surprise, a tap, confusion, a hiss, Nicholas. And if you actually like mouth his name, it does all of these things. Like first there's a pressure, in your mouth whenever you're making the N, and then a cascade, like it falls, and a crash, like so cool. And first one to do it, I wish I would have thought of it. Shoot, but Nicholas did. So there are other ways that you can write your poem as well. This is Identitas, uh, Atlantis, Alanus, butchered. A three-syllable tongue twister sliced and carved like a fine cut of meat by the English language. Line leader material, always first on the seating chart. Its roots firmly grounded in Spain, taken hostage, downgraded. Soiled by Mexican heritage, the ways of the savage. Within the name lie many forbidden secrets: war, betrayal, death, thievery, once foreign, but modest enough to snatch up in a time of desperation. It rolls so sweetly off my Mama Baylin's tongue like warm honey, unlike many other words. The stark differentiation of my cultural backgrounds mixed but living in a white world, hanging like a limp corpse at the cliff of your tongue, Alanis. The climax of my entire name so swift and tangy, the only Mexican thing about me to an outsider, me appendido. Oh, so beautiful. See how just a name can turn into such a beautiful piece full of rich history and culture and beauty. You want to do the same thing. Find something special about your name and write about that. So those are all 4 of your poetry exercises for the week. Just like last week, you can type all of them here where it says portfolio. Um, this past week, I took a look about 10 o'clock on a Thursday night just to see kind of where you guys were. Several of you hadn't jumped in yet, which made me very sad. And I know that this is a total struggle for you guys, especially you seniors, to be going through this tough time right now. But honestly, poetry is a really good way to kind of work yourselves through it. So please take the opportunity to do the work here, especially because I'm just so looking forward to reading it. And then also one addition this week is a kind of calendar that outlines what we're doing. Also, I'm going to have an overview video. The one that I'm making right now will be right here in the center, and also it will be linked here. The poetry exercises and examples that we just looked at on the slideshow will be here as well. And then it just kind of breaks it down for you. You don't have to, I don't even encourage you to finish all of this in one day. You might break it up the way that we would in a normal week and do Monday, do exercise 1, Tuesday, exercise 2, etc. The walk takes a little bit longer, so that's for our block day. And then Friday will be your name poem. The portfolios are due. Don't forget to click turn in by midnight on Friday, April 10th. And then don't forget also, if you'd like to use the app, Remind app, or text at Mrs. Love H to 81010. You can get a hold of me that way as well, especially if you don't have your written or email on your phone. Um, Again, quarantine poetry, if you log in and post there, I'm hoping to get that published when this is all said and done. So be a part of that adventure. It'd be really cool to see for all of us. And so this is something that I'm going to share with your parents and guardians so that they kind of know what you're up to as well. And can encourage you and help you, write these poems and get through this. So if you have any questions at all, as usual, please email or use Remind, use Hangouts even. I've had some people use that as well, and I will help you as much as I can. But please do, look back through the video if you need to for any help on these. The poetry lessons are all here with examples. And don't stress yourself. If you don't really understand what the poem exercise is asking you to do, write a poem. Miss Love will be happy if you just write a poem. So please do, and let me know if you have any questions, and all the best to you in week 2 of distance learning. Take care.